And welcome to another episode of the Tar Heels Insider Podcast. Once again, I'm your host, Grant Chachere, bringing you all the latest news in regards to your North Carolina Tar Heels. And of course, I also forgot to mention, I am also your lead beat writer for North Carolina Tar Heels on SI. And it's been a pretty hectic week for me. Basketball season's underway. There's some stuff I need to release from football. Like I haven't published my articles on the PFF grades from last weekend just because of all the craziness with basketball. I will get that up today. And by the time this podcast is released, it's probably already up. But if it hasn't, it will be up sometime today before the evening. This is how busy I've been with basketball. And speaking of basketball, it's a very exciting time in the Triangle, right? And of course for North Carolina, right? I was there at the game, covered the game between North Carolina and Central Arkansas. North Carolina won 94-54. Caleb Wilson led the way with 22 points. We also saw the debut of Luka Bokovac. He had 10 points. He also had 2 steals, 5 assists. He had a great game. Of course, the shooting could be better. He shot 3 for 9, but 5 of those shots were 3-pointers. And of course, that was his first game. Remember, he was not eligible by North Carolina. They had to figure some things out before they could let him play. They figured it out in a timely manner. They got it done right before the home opener. So he'll be good to go for Kansas, and he will be the starter at the 3 spot for against Kansas at the Dean Dome on Friday night. And Kai Nevins also had a great game. He had 16 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. He also had 4 steals. And I believe that's the first time somebody's had a 15-5-5 and a 4-steal game since Kobe White in 2019, which is pretty astonishing. But the men's weren't the only ones that played on Monday. The women's played earlier that day at Carmichael, and Jeremiah Ortacho was there, or Shushy beat writer, and they dominated. They won 90-42 over NC Central, and what was a sellout crowd. A lot of kids there, right? Because it's their field day. It's their field day game or whatever. That's what they do every year, sometime during the school day. At 11 a.m. It's always like early during the day, like 11 or 12 o'clock, and North Carolina won 90-42. It was a strong showing for the women's team, of course, as they're the number 11 team in the country. Their ranking is even higher than the men's team, right? So when you're the number 11 team in the country, you have expectations. And, of course, at the place we call Chapel Hill, there's always going to be expectations, not only for the men's, but also for the women's. And, the women's team, I think they're finally hitting their stride where they're more consistent. Of course, Courtney Bainhart's done a great job. The university has been supporting her, which has been awesome to see because the more support, the better your team can be. And that goes for any program, not let alone North Carolina. It was a well-rounded effort. 5 players got in the double digits. Nyla Brooks had 15 points to go along with 4 rebounds and 2 assists and a steal. Alina Arnisolo had 13 points with 3 rebounds, 3 assists. India Navarre, 13 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists and 4 steals, by the way. And then Sierra Toomey, 13 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, and 4 blocks. Nyla Harris, 12 points, 10 rebounds, an assist, a steal, and 2 blocks. So just a dominating performance by the women's team. The next game they will play against Elon on Thursday night at 7 o'clock. And then next Tuesday they travel to Las Vegas to take on UCLA. And that should be, I think it was Las Vegas because of the WBCA challenge. I'm assuming it's in Vegas. It's in Las Vegas. Okay, so so that's another big time matchup. UCLA was in the Final Four the year before. So it's a big time matchup for the women's team. You know, and so it's great to see. But really, and I want to start with North Carolina because, of course, this is the team I cover. That's the team you're interested in the most. But there's been a really interesting development throughout the triangle where it just seems like everyone's good. Go over the men's team, right? We already know about Duke, right? Duke won their first game of the year against Texas, 75-60. They were down by 1 point to go at halftime. Then they blew them out the second half. NC State had a dominating performance against NC Central. They won 114 to 66 over North Carolina Central. You had Will Wade on the court, basically saying the reckoning is coming. If you guys have not seen that. So there's a lot of excitement, not only for North Carolina and Duke, but also at NC State, right? Like NC State, they got it rolling over there with Will Wade. There's a lot of excitement. And their game against NC Central. And this is very interesting too. You want to show the kind of the Will Wade effect that's going on at NC State because Will Wade's a hell of a coach. He's always done a great job of taking over programs are seen as a redheaded stepchild of their said conference and then turning them into relevant opponents. I mean, when he was at LSU, they won this SEC regular season title. And that was 2 years after LSU was one of the bottom feeders of the conference. So he was able to turn the program around in 2 years. Of course, he got fired, not because of on-course stuff. He got fired because of the off-the-course stuff that would be legal in today's NCAA basketball, right, in terms of paying players and, stuff like that. And then he goes to the McNeese State, leads in the tournament twice after they were a bottom feeder in the conference. Now he's at NC State. And he's always done a great job of not only making his players believe and putting together a great program, but he also makes the fans buy in and invest in the program. And that's what you see in NC State. And they sold out. They had a sold-out crowd at the Lenovo Center. That's the first time they had a sellout crowd in that arena since 1999. Right? Like 1999. Guys, I was born in 99. Right? I was born in May 10, 99. That is 26 years. That's the last time they had a sellout crowd for a home opener. Let me rephrase this, for a home opener. That's the first time they had a sold-out crowd for a home opener since 1999. I was a few months old. And that's when the arena was known as the Raleigh Entertainment and Sports Arena. Then it became the RBC Center, the PNC Arena, and then, of course, now it's known as the Lenovo Center. Like, that's how long ago that was. And then you go over to the women's side, right? NC State, they're the number 9 team in the country right now. They just beat a top 10 Tennessee team, the number 8 team in the country, 80-77. And we already know NC State's had a great program. I believe a couple years ago they went to the Final Four, right? Duke is the number 7 team in the country. Yes, I know they lost against Baylor last night, 58-52. But Duke was picked to be the preseason favorite when they see it in women's basketball. Kara Lawson, the head coach, she's now the USA Women's National Team's coach. She's the head coach of women's basketball on the women's side. So, and also, Duke's number 7, NC State's number 9, and North Carolina's number 11. When was the last time you saw all those teams ranked in the top 15 together? At the beginning of the season. Like, it's been a while. Right? And it's been a while. And I think what we're heading into is another golden age of triangle basketball. And that's something that could benefit UNC too, right? Because we already know about Carolina Duke. We already know that Carolina and NC State hate each other. And of course, Duke and NC State hate each other too. I mean, they all hate each other. And not only that, when they all hate each other and they're all really good, that draws eyeballs. Because a lot of people already know about Carolina and Duke, right? I mean, on the men's side, Carolina's won 6, Duke's won 5. Women's basketball side, both are pretty successful programs. NC State, of course, went to the Final Four a couple years ago on the women's side. But on the men's side, they've won 2 national championships. You had 3 schools within a 30 to 45-minute radius where they have won a total of 13 national championships. That's very intriguing for TV networks when you have that many successful teams in one area. And if you're the ACC, you kind of want all 3 of these teams to be really good. Not only in the men's side, right, of course, for obvious reasons, but also the women's side, because women's college basketball, their ratings are going up. You know, women's college basketball is different from the WNBA. And you know, if you look at the ratings for women's college basketball, they keep going higher and higher every year. The NCAA is not losing money with women's college basketball. They're not. And they've always done a great job of promoting their women's college athletes better than the WNBA, per se. So when you have 3 successful programs in one area, that benefits everyone. I mean, if you think about this on the men's side, when was the last time where UNC fans, Duke fans, and NC State fans were all basically had the same levels of excitement? Like think about that. Like I don't know how good UNC is gonna how UNC is gonna end up finishing. I don't know how good Duke's gonna be at the end of the year. I don't even know NC State will even pan out. But what I do know is that you have 3 really good head coaches. Yes, Hubert's included. I know people have criticized Hubert, but you know, to be fair to Hubert, the man was in the national championship game. He won an ACC regular season title. He's never had a losing season. Like I understand his teams may not have met the expectations that Carolina fans have on this basketball program, but anywhere else, he'd be a successful. NC State would take that in a heartbeat. They would take Hubert's resume in a heartbeat. If you told NC State fans, "Hey, you lost the national championship game. The next year you didn't make the tournament, but the year after that, you won the ACC regular season title. You went to the Sweet 16, and the year after that, you made the tournament, got bounced in the first round." They would take that in a heartbeat. That's a pretty good 4-year successful. That's a pretty good 4-year run. But we're talking about Carolina here, so it makes sense. But Hubert's done a decent job in North Carolina. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I understand there's going to be criticisms of him. And, look, I'll criticize it too if he needs to be criticized. That's part of my job, is to praise and criticize. But Hubert, for the most part, has done a good job at North Carolina. Yeah, he just hasn't gotten over the hump. But he's done a really good job with this program. You have 3 really good coaches on the men's side, but you also have 3 really good coaches on the women's side, right? Duke has Kara Lawson, right? She's been doing a fantastic job with that program. They're a game away from going to the Final Four last year, right? Wes Moore has done a great job with his NC State program, always has, and of course Courtney Bainhart is finally getting this program to turn the corner back since the glory days of when Sylvia Hatchell was on the sidelines for North Carolina. Like, it's just an awesome thing to experience right now. Like, it seems like I covered UNC at the right time. So sorry. It seems like I covered them at the right time. That's awesome. That's awesome. That we get to see all these different programs have success right now. And of course, it's way too early in the season to kind of say all those things, but it's a really exciting time for basketball, men's or women's. North Carolina, it seems like they got a stunning Caleb Wilson, right? I mean, they look like they could be really good. We already know what Duke's going to do. They're Duke's Duke. That's what they are. They're always going to compete for titles. And then NC State, for the first time, there was legitimate excitement. And, I'm not saying there hasn't been any bad teams. NC State was in that Final Four a couple years ago. But that was kind of like a stroke of luck thing, right? They just got hot at the right time. But, this is the first time where NC State fans feel confident go into a game in and game out. Because Will Wade's that coach. you got to think about this. NC State from the 50s through the late 80s was one of the better basketball programs in the country. But when Jimmy V retired, because of course he had cancer, well, I want to say he got retired. I think he didn't resign. Didn't he resign? Like, I remember something like he resigned. I want to make sure I'm right about that. Yeah, so he had to resign because they think he got in trouble with NCAA. But still, regardless, I mean, ever since he had to resign because he broke NCAA rules, they haven't been the same since. Really, I mean, they've had some years where they have had some good years and they made the Sweet 16, but it wasn't anything consistent, right? So this is the first time since Jimmy V was that coach that NC State is feeling some type of way about the program. And I'm seeing it, right? I'm of course I live here. Every time I'm listening to, like, let's say the OV is a Giglio podcast, right? They're both NC State guys. They're really excited about the program and going on Twitter. They're all, I mean, I know it's NC State Twitter, I know that, but they all seem very excited about the season. And so I'm really excited to see all three of these programs duke it out this year. And it sucks that for the men's, you only get NC State and Duke once, or NC State and UNC once, because, the ACC are full of idiots. I mean, I think we can kind of agree with that. I mean, they're idiots. Yeah, how come you not take care? How come you have UNC and Syracuse do a home and away, but not UNC and NC State, especially NC State hiring Will Wade? Stupid, but anyway, not the ones in control. But anyway, it's just a great time to be a college basketball fan in the Triangle, right? And although I don't support any of these teams, right? I only cover UNC. Of course, the team I cover is the team that, their athletics program fired the coach for $54 million. I'm talking about LSU. However, as a college basketball fan myself, I'm a huge college basketball fan. This is a really exciting time just to be a fan of college basketball, no matter who your team is, who you're rooting for, whether you're from the area or not. If you live in this area, this is a college basketball fan stream. It really is. So it's really exciting to see. And, of course, we still got a long season to go. We've only played one game of both men's and women's. However, I'm super excited for this year. And if you live in the Triangle, so should you. But anyway, that's going to wrap up today's podcast. Once again, I'm your host, Grant Chachere, the lead beat writer for North Carolina Tar Heels on side, giving you all the latest updates on your North Carolina Tar Heels. And, of course, this is the Tar Heels Insider Podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.